Greetings and welcome to a special edition of Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G. Today's guest is Letrice Parson Bey. She's a Moorish American national who domiciles in Western New Mexico. She is a realtor by profession who became an independent researcher out of necessity. Today, she is going to share what her research uncovered in hopes that it will help the rest of us who are on this journey for nationality. I want to welcome to the special early edition of Office Hours with Dr. G, our sister, Letrice Parson Bey. Welcome. How are you, sis?
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, good, good. Listen, first of all, I want to thank you for agreeing to come on the show to talk about your experience on this journey for nationality and birthright and trying to get it right. You, as we, you shared with me, you've gone or you went the route of that most of us go. You got the paperwork and you you filled out this and that and you sent it to this hither and yon and you did all of those things, and only to find out that you kind of maybe had run up against a brick wall, and a lot of people do. So I want you to share with our viewers what your journey and your experience has been, and then we'll get into some of what you uncovered and discovered as you have become a very, very prolific independent researcher. I mean, you're not a researcher by profession, realtor by profession, but it seems like from what you've uncovered based on what you share with me, maybe researcher needs to be officially added to your list of what you do.
Okay.
Welcome.
I don't know that I give myself enough credit, but I have been studying. What happened for me was I had a bad breakup, and we were fighting. It led to legal problems, and as I was searching for a way to not be incarcerated, I ran across different information, and one of the first things that I ran across was Yusuf's L's how to get on the do not detain list, and I did that. I was still in the process of going through the court proceedings, but it seems like as soon as I got that passport, whether or not I could make it to court suddenly became optional, which I was kind of surprised with. And I was like, okay, I kind of moved the date a couple of times. Um, the first time out of necessity, the second time just because I realized I could. Um, After then, I was still going through the court sessions, but my boyfriend and I took a trip to DC, and that's when I encountered the fact that the passport worked. So what happened was we had taken a tour through the Capitol building. So when we first got into the building, we went through a checkpoint. It didn't catch it, just like all of the museums and the airports that we had been through before for months. And we went through a second checkpoint, didn't catch it. We went up to the senator's office and waited for the tour to begin. So it did. We had to go through a third checkpoint, and there it is. They were like, "You have paraphernalia first." And I was like, "Oh
What
no."
did you have in your purse? You said you had paraphernalia.
Okay, so I had a metal ball wrapped in crochet. It basically it's a mace. You know, like those old spiky things way back in the day that
Like
they
you, yeah, yeah,
around
okay.
with ball and chain thing. Okay, so it kind of looks like that, only it's got a crochet handle, and the ball is wrapped with crochet, but it's a metal ball. So my boyfriend had given it to me because he's just that guy, like you may need something one day. So um, it had been in the purse for months anyway. So now at this checkpoint, the guy is like, stand right here. He was like, we don't really want to have to arrest you. We're just going to run you to see what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And he talks to his supervisor, comes back, and he says, wait a minute. He was like, we got some people coming down the hall. They are going to arrest you, but they might not necessarily make you stay in jail. So I was like, oh, okay, this is getting serious. So then he says, well, let me have your identification. So I remembered everything that Isabella said. I gave him my passport, and I waited.
Let me stop you for just a moment. The feedback what I'm getting in the comment section is that there is an echo. Now I have the echo turned off on my side. I don't know whether you can go back into
I don't know.
where and you go back into where you first signed in, and there where the mic camera where you check that, and there should be an echo cancellation. If you can get back to that, I just want to make sure. Um,
Um,
if you go back in, I'm not sure what you're seeing on your screen, but there should be a camera mic button. And then if you go into that, there's an echo cancellation button.
I pushed it.
You go to, when you go to that, you go to audio, and then you click echo, make sure echo cancellation is checked.
Yes, I did.
I just want to make sure.
You're still hearing it?
Well, okay, was it checked before?
It was checked before.
Let me see if okay, audience viewers can, is there, I want you to talk. They said good now. Somebody said good now. Go ahead. Let's see how it. So you were in DC. You had what was considered paraphernalia in your purse, which was what you would consider a weapon or something, and you were stopped at a checkpoint in a so-called federal building or something. You were in the Capitol, or you were somewhere, right? You're in the Capitol. Get a little closer so we can hear you. Okay, so
and here it was. I was terrified, but I was like, oh my God, I am going to jail in the Capitol building. I was like, this is going to be an automatic sentence no matter what. So, because it is their job to conduct commerce. So
they saying it's echoing again. Mm-hmm.
It's echoing again. I don't know what to do.
Okay, we're gonna do the best we can.
Is it still echoing?
Yes. Still echo says, well, click. Let me see. I can turn. You turned the echo cancellation. Click. You like that. You check that so it cancels the echo, right?
Yes.
Let me
work.
Go back in and undo it and see if it makes a difference, if you don't mind. When you turned off your mic, it went away. Okay, so I will. I'll ask you a question, and then I'm going to mute my mic, and then let you respond. How about that? So go on with your story.
Okay. How's it going now? Okay. All right. So what had happened was I'm standing there. He said, give me your identification. I gave him my passport. I'm standing there and I'm waiting. And he comes back and he says, what's your address? And I said, I don't want to tell you that. And then he said, okay, that's fine. He leaves again. He returns a few minutes later and he says, what's your social security number? I said, I'm really not going to tell you that. And then he says, okay. He leaves. He comes back again. He gives me a little green piece of paper, a receipt. I think I still have it. And he said, I'm so sorry to have disturbed your tour. And we can't apologize more honestly. And we wish you a good tour.
I'm unmuting so I can say this to you. So what you handed them, instead of anything that had your straw on it, you didn't give them any identification as far as say a state ID or driver's license. What you had was a passport. Okay, you're showing that. She's showing that. What she had is a passport. But I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to get you to explain. After that passport looks like my passport. But there is a difference between what it says about you in your passport than what most of us says on most of our passports. Please tell us what yours is different and how you came about getting that kind of passport.
Okay, so what I did, I look like I'm stuck. Has it caught up for you? Okay, so what I did was all of the misnomers, you're directed not to answer them. All of those optionals, you don't fill those in. And there is a law, public law 94 something, and it says do not, I, I am a national, but I do not choose to be a U.S. citizen. So um, I put that in, and there might have been maybe another couple of little technical things that you're supposed to do, but all of that is explained. So I just did it exactly how he said. I didn't change anything.
So what you're saying is that you applied. Now I'm just going back to our earlier conversation. You applied for a passport. You applied under, if I'm not mistaken, under your straw, not your free national. But what you did was you stated yourself as a national as opposed to a U.S. citizen, and instead of a SSN number, you used an EIN number. So can you explain that and why?
I did use the EIN, yes. I had that EIN from a previous business that I registered because I was under the impression they only gave you one, like that was all you got ever in life. And that was the one I used. So it wasn't anything special. I didn't go out of my way for anything. And literally, they come to you in 15 seconds. You send in your request, check your email, it's there. Maybe an hour. So, but then after that, I was relieved. I was like, oh my God, how did I not go to jail? So I didn't know what would happen really. So I came home and I started studying, and I couldn't find anything. And I was getting a little frustrated. And then finally something said, dummy, start at the beginning of the book. And the book meaning the USC, the United States Code. So I literally started at the beginning of the book, and they verbatim, page by page, line by line, they lay out the definition of, okay, this is the United States Code. It is this type of book, and it gives you all of that information. And then its purposes is its people, the whoever is running its authority is given by, and it mentions treaties very vaguely, and acts, and then it starts listing its people, and it starts explaining each person and their job, and then it goes on to explain further. But each section is broken down into exactly what it is. So I left the USC, being directed to state statutes, CFR, uh, gosh, I know I'm missing something else, but you use those, you line those all up, and literally, when it says banking and finance, that section is very broad in the USC. In the state statutes, it gets more defined. And then, better still, it gets more defined in the administrative code of each state. And then, even more so, it is more defined in the CFR. So by the time you go through all of that, you're like, okay, I have a complete education. Why am I spending 4 years anywhere? So you go from that to now you just find the processes and procedures. And there are processes and procedures, a rule, the whole step by step, because they want you to do everything in a specific way. You're not supposed to have your own identity or your own thought system. We are bored. So, Then, of course, like I said, it does reference you back to the state statutes, which are the acts. So now you're reading the acts, and the acts are telling you they're written from a military stance, and they are letting you know what their military uh, program is, step by step. Each act covers a different something. Each volume of acts, basically, they are given in sessions 4 times a year. In Congress or the House, they come together 4 times a year, and they discuss from each state or group of states what it is they mean to accomplish. And they put that out in small paragraphs, as descriptive as possible, with as few words as possible. So it's every section is grouped together. It's just that 4 months. What happened? No, that 3 months. What happened throughout that 3 months? And that literally is the history book of how they decided to run their strategic war against us. And when I say us, I did say the Immigration and Nationality Act. Immigration means they brought people in. Nationality meaning everyone came from a different nation. And whomever they brought in as Christians. That says that in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. I forget which act it is inside of there. But they brought that in, and they said that they basically were going to kill all the Christians when they were done. And this is that time where they were rounding up their plan to ending it all. So they list the different types of people without saying their nationalities. Those you have to go back and you have to find the treaties for each of your nations, wherever you came from, whatever was discussed. And I'm realizing now the treaties were not written by our people, because our people were conquered. The treaties were written by them, deciding how we should respond, or how we should allow them to come in and not fight them. So, and you can tell that because when you read the treaties, you're like, what ruler would submit his people to this? It wouldn't happen. We're not the only people. So when you start to see how it lays out, they start with the highest of authority of people, or what should be the natural way of the highest authority of people. And then they classify them down. So they make themselves the secondary group. But we are the first group, and I was confused to think that we were the G group. And I forget how many letters there are, but we're definitely the A group. They've made themselves the B group, and just about everybody else is after them. So if you learn this, if you read it, it just is so clearly stated. You do have to look for the definitions and stuff. You do have to pay attention to what the acts are saying and where they're referencing, because when you follow those references, they give you a complete story. Complete story. They tell you the most beautiful things about you while they tell you that they're going to conquer you and kill you. And they tell you they're doing it by force while they get up and they smile and they pretend that, hey, we're nice. So it was heartbreaking to run into some of that information, because you're thinking, wow, I grew up in a world where I just thought as long as I followed the rules and contribute, I'm supposed to be okay. And then, of course, you do see the attacks on people. You do see how the unfairness is happening. And it does appear to be one-sided until you start reading the business plan. When you start reading the business plan, then you know they're attacking everyone who has not submitted to them and who is not actively fighting to make them bigger. And that's the scary thing, because they're fighting with smiles. and handshakes.
Um, I want to just interject now. When you start talking about what you were reading and so forth, and you were using codes, and I know you can rattle off those codes, but just for the sake of those who may not know, I know when you said this, the USC, you're talking about the United States Code because people need to know where to reference. When you talk about the CFR, you're talking about the Code of Federal Regulations. You didn't mention it today, but you when we talked, you mentioned the FDIC, which I thought was, and so I'm gonna shut up in a minute, but I wanted to jog your memory because I want you to be able, because one of the things you said to me is you have a habit of once you said something to someone, when you go back and talk again, you figure like, well, I already told them that. And I was like, but yeah, but you didn't tell my audience and they don't know. So I'm just, I'm glad we had the conversation, but could you go into a little bit of detail? And I think you had something that you read. When we were talking a little bit before we went live, you have some forms and so forth, paperwork, and I know somebody had put a comment in even before the show start if you could show documents at the beginning of the thing, but you've got thick documents that you've researched, and I want to applaud you for your research because so many people listen to what the various Moorish groups and factions and you know entities who come and say they have a built a better mousetrap, come with information and packages and so forth, and people run off with this stuff, and then they don't they like I said in the beginning, they hit like a wall. And right, you were sharing, there's something I want you to read, and this is like, these are things that you found. I think this was probably the document that you told me. I'm not sure if that's the one that you ended up screenshotting, because how thick is it? Let me see. Can you just tell so you screenshot that document because it wasn't printable, and it has you have everything you have. You've made copies of, you've dug, you've researched, you got copies of I guess CFR, whatever they are, entries and so forth. So and we're going to try to figure out a way to get your documentation in the hands of people, because what, or at least the things that you found, so that they have some steps to go on their own journey. But I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to let you explain, like I said, FDIC, what that is, and show some of the things and explain. And we're going to have to figure out a way, how people can get this stuff, because like again, you went beyond, and I'm so excited. I was so excited to meet you with this. Yeah, that's a public law now. Where is that? What is that document from? And I'm going to shut up. I'm going to mute myself.
This is the Immigration and Nationality Act in its entirety. It's just the whole thing. I downloaded the PDF and then I just printed it. So that is a wonderful piece of information, but this one even makes it a whole lot better, because this one tells you what all these words mean, because these words truly aren't explained, because they don't mean for you to know who everybody is. When they said it's a melting pot, they just basically meant blend your butts together, because it don't matter. We're going to slaughter all of you. We don't care. They weren't being nice to these white people. I mean, you saw Deliverance, right? That's happened to somebody somewhere. They know they're not all the same.
Well, these Albions, yeah, we know they're not the white people. They're not the sovereigns. But people are asking, what was the federal code? Did you the one that you put? I mean, if there's anything that you want to put in the private chat, and I can then copy it and post it, any names or anything, but you can hold it up. What, or tell me the name of what that was. Tell us rather.
Um, okay, so The FDIC basically is where everything comes together because um, I think everybody has heard that insurance is the biggest scam in the world, right? At least I have. I know I've heard it a million times over. Insurance is the biggest scam in the world. And then you want to know why. Why is it the biggest scam in the world? Of course, if I mess up my car or something happens to my house or something, I'm so happy I have insurance. Well, when they arrest you on the street and they go back and do their paperwork is asking to be paid for locking you up. Who is paying them? That's what you find in the FDIC rules and regulations. And you have to read it for yourself. As much as I would love to sit here and explain it to you, the real truth is, and I respect this man for doing this, whomever was giving me my information and taking me along the way, they stopped because they're like, if you don't learn on your own, it's not meant for you to know. You don't deserve to know. If you're too lazy to put your own brain cells together, it's not meant for you to know. You were always meant to be a slave. You were always meant to be somebody's fool. So why should you be a fool with enough access to kill yourself or harm others? So, as much as I want to say, I can't say, but I will say it is the absolute most important thing because it is the thing that is manipulating your life from every single aspect, from what you eat to where you sleep to what you think. Literally, sometimes it's the air you breathe if you didn't know what was going on in the world right now. Because your body is exhaling garbage. And you're telling people, it's okay if you tell me to hold all that garbage right in my face. Your body is exhaling it or expelling it because it doesn't want it. It doesn't need it. It's dangerous.
Okay, so I I know that you have. I guess, are you muted? I don't know. I know that you have extensively studied, and I know people are probably asking with regard to the passport, okay, and the use of the EIN. The fact is that you, when you put whatever information you fill, I'm assuming you filled out the same U.S. passport form that anyone else would fill out, but when you literally had the form in your hand and where it asks, are you a U.S. citizen or what da 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 da, what did you do differently that one made you an American national, and that two put you, did you have to send out any type of notifications to be put on a do not detain list, or did you just go on there because you were not a citizen?
They know where they are. They know how they run their paperwork. You give them as little information possible. And when you don't provide incorrect answers, they will put you where you're supposed to be. And as far as a citizen, do you work for the government? Because if you don't work for the government, if you don't have a little name badge and a little whatever saying that you are designated inside of one of the government offices, you are not a citizen. You're just not. You can say you are, you can claim it, and then they're going to treat you like an alien because they lock aliens up. You can say that you're black, they're going to treat you like an alien because you have no definition. You're alien. So it's up to you how you get treated according to how much information you are willing to allow yourself to have. So, and right now I know everybody in my life thinks I'm crazy. My sister is not talking to me. She's just like, she is crazy. Most of my friends are not talking to me. They're like, you are crazy. But if some dude walks up to you and calls you a queen and rubs you on the booty and tells you you're pretty, you'll be like, oh, I'm a queen. I'm a queen. Yay, I'm a queen. But if your sister is talking to you and telling you, you have such a beautiful mind, heart, and soul, you need to appreciate yourself. Just read these lines and figure out where you fit naturally in life. And I'm a damn fool. I'm crazy. Shut up and get out. So I'm just confused. I'm confused as all heck. I'm confused. You want to be free. You want to be saved. You want to be loved. You want to be treated with respect and decency and honor. And you won't give it to yourself. So, I mean, I've been saying this for so many days. I don't know what I should cover, what I shouldn't cover anymore, because the more you want to give, the more people just don't want to hear or understand.
Okay. I'm something just came back to my remembrance when we were talking a couple of days ago. Tell the audience, the listeners, what you found with regard to some what are they called? I always lose my brain goes off the sometimes, but the Trump has put into law some and I know what they're called, but it's out of my head now. Some various things that kind of open the way for us, you said, to do certain things, but because for various reasons the information isn't getting out, and we don't like that we shoot the messenger. But there's some things that have been done that by this administration, and this is not a political, you know, what I'm not, we're not endorsing anybody, but we just need the facts. What has happened that we should be aware of that would be, see, okay. Okay, can you explain that? I'm going to mute.
This was the loop that people were getting. People have been studying all this information for so long, and I'm running across people who have become a little jaded because they have taken the steps. They followed the whatever was put out as mandate and needed to be done. But they didn't realize there were more steps to the process. Steps that literally were being said, do not provide such a contract. It literally says that. Do not provide such a contract. So, unless you knew somebody that was in the system or that was willing to slide you a little piece of paperwork or something, you didn't get out of this system. You just didn't get out. And even though I'm telling people, people are like, okay, you're crazy, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. People who have studied and really extensively know it doesn't work. And I'm okay. When I started searching this, one of the very first things that I saw on the screen when I got into the website was executive orders have changed, blah, 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 blah. And now these, the accounts are now allowed to be claimed. They have removed the obstacles. These mandates went in, I want to say, between March, June, August of 17. So those were the executive orders that changed everything. And these things happened like as soon as he got into office. So if he's not trying to be of some assist, why would that ever come into play? So there are so many people that are running around and they're being swayed by the hate mongering, and they're not paying attention to the actual information. Nobody's looking for any information. Everybody is just going with someone else's emotion and they're writing that out. And that is It's a way to get you a heart attack. Are you trying to kill each other? I mean, I just don't understand what's really going on. I mean, I just, I like truth. And I think that we should all like truth. But again, like I said, once you read this information, anyone that you know for a fact is a position to have run across this information for random reasons, especially if they're in business, I would be wondering exactly what their motivation is in life. And I would be getting away from it, because if you didn't tell me that you knew that this is what it is and you're still saying that you're less than this, I'm wondering who you are, why you are, what is your purpose? What are you trying to do to me? Because you are trying to do something to me. I don't think people really understand when I say that. Okay. If I know that you're better and I tell you that you're less, and I keep pretending that, so much so, I even tell you that I am less. But then when I leave your presence, I go and have more. I go and have better. Am I really down for you? Nobody is asking themselves that. Nobody is thinking that. Everyone is just thinking, well, if I try harder, I can get approval. They'll like me. No, they won't. That is not in the design. It's not in the plan. This is not emotion. There is a plan. In order to get my credit, I am going to make sure I check off the boxes. I am going to make sure I have completed everything I need to do. So, whomever is signed up in those positions, in those jobs, they're not for you. The leader of my household was not for us. And that's how close the deception is. I don't know how many times I got slapped in the mouth and told me to speak the King's English, or my black wasn't going to be in life. So that was my house. That was where I was supposed to be loved. That's how close the deception is. I'm not the only person that had to struggle in order to find what I found in life. So a lot of people need to start looking at their lives and stop compensating for the lack and just looking at it and say, honestly, it's a lack. Either I can fix it or I can leave it alone, but I need to move forward. But don't leave your loved ones behind. They stupid too. You just got to wake them up, because they are your loved ones. You love them. Literally, you can go in life and you are going to be lonely. You are going to be in a midst of chaos that you did not design, and you are looking for whatever came with you in life. And that is your mitochondrial DNA. That is the most important thing. So people need to truly, truly understand where you come from. And unfortunately, in this world of chaos, you need to figure out what you're standing in the middle of. And is it for you?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I hear you say from your research what you found is that whoever they are, when we talk about powers that be and those whatever, that in their plan, not only are Moors, natural people in their cattle lists or cattle lists, but anyone that they could use to achieve their end game, their ultimate goal of world domination. And even though we look at people from a standpoint of complexion and nationality and whatever, that's not one of the things that I know Grand Sheik Tashriq Bey always says, that it's not racism. He always says it's unum sanctum. It's unum sanctum. And so we get caught up on the so-called race issue, and we don't realize that at stake is not just us, but most all other people are part of the, I don't know, I don't want to call them the fodder, but Grand Sheik, I have a book over here, I think that he did, and it was called Evolve or Become. I think it was to become fertilizer. And when it comes to fertilizer, the plan, the agendas, the Rex 84, the Agenda 21, and all of that, as we know, has a desire to reduce the population and so forth and so on. And so what I think you found in your research is the fact that I know you're trying to get something straight there, but you found that they have it in for a lot of people. And so could you address the agenda as you have discovered it? You need to unmute your mic.
I was trying to make it so you can see this little paperwork here. I know it's really kind of dim over here in this area. It's my little reading area.
There's a glare, but maybe let me see. Well, can you straighten that page up?
Let me actually read it to you because I don't think anybody's going to see that properly. So what that is that says world communism. Okay? This is the Immigration and Nationality Act. This was written, geez, I can't see, in 1952. Okay? Actually, yeah, this was written in 1952. So in 1952, they were already talking about world communism. They had already said that, let me break this stupid thing. World communism means a revolutionary movement, the purpose of which is to establish eventually a communist totalitarian dictatorship in any or all the countries of the world through the medium of internationally coordinated communist political movement. So, who is in our government now? Who had been running it for the previous 47 years? Let's say the previous 80 years. So, and the 150, just wow. It's so much. And they just plainly wrote it down. Hey, look at it, read it, suck it up. It's happening. You can't fight it. And everybody's just like, okay, no, I'm going to just keep going because everything is wonderful and great. And we got the 60s and we'll just go out in peace and love and it's all great. And these are the things that they have publicized. They want you to see all of the distractions. Those are the great, wonderful things. Go shake your booty. All kinds of stuff. And I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty. I was distracted. I grew up in a house that was not designed for me to learn this. So I'm offended. I'm angry on so many levels, but I'm also relieved. I'm relieved to know that I'm not trapped in that chaos and I have options. I'm relieved. I'm relieved to know that this system I'm not forced to participate in it. There is something different. And I'm not supposed to be some slave to this system. It in itself tells you that in the Immigration and Nationality Act. My gosh, where is it? It's one of the first few things that you see. Because, like I said, it breaks the people down into different groups. And it tells you who it is that they are controlling and who they cannot control. But if you let them, then of course they will. I can't see. I need my glasses. Um, oh, yes, right here. I really hope you can see this. I don't think anybody has read this.
Can you read it, please?
Okay. Let me get my glasses. I'm sorry. I'm going to take off for just a second. I'm sorry. I don't know how I didn't have glasses when I was sitting here. Lord knows I'm blind. Um,
Um,
the term immigration means every alien except an alien who is within one of the following classes of non-immigrant aliens. An A1 or AI, an ambassador, public minister, or career diplomatic or consular officer who has been accredited by a foreign government, recognized de jure, which means by right, by the United States, and who is accepted by the President or by the Secretary of State and the members of the alien's immediate family. That's the first designation of citizen or of person. The very first designation. So, for people to not want to know that is just truly sad. Um, there's just so much. I mean, if I started reading all of it, I can't do the homework for people. I can only do how extremely important it is. I want to, somebody please ask questions or something, because there's so much I want to say, and there's so much, honestly, you must see for yourself. You must take in for yourself. But like I said, this piece of information right here is about the most important piece of information you can have when you're reading this. So you know everyone else, everyone is beneath you. And if you know history the way that I know history, 5,000 years ago, there were no white people. If there were no white people, who created the chaos? And so many thousand years before that, there were no penis people. Knowing that, who created the chaos? Start to fix yourselves.
there you were saying questions, and Afro Samurai is asking me to answer the questions, and I'm not sure what questions. I mean, a lot of things are flowing up and down. So I'm Afro Samurai, whatever it is you want answered, because I'm not seeing any specific question that you've asked, except that she answered a question. What question are you asking? Please just repost it, because they kind of disappear and I'm not seeing everything. You see, what's the name of that paper again? Someone asked. I think that, so it's the subject, citizen, national, and permanent allegiance. And then it's by Maximilian, is that Koessler, Koessler. That one. So the question is, what is the correct way of doing or proclaiming your nationality? Oh, I see what they're also asking. They're asking, they said that you didn't answer the question as to how you filled out your paperwork. I'm assuming the paperwork, when I was asking you, had to do with the passport. Now, somebody said, passport is permission, but the way you filled it out, I know you didn't complete it as a U.S. citizen. and whatever you did put on there, it apparently was accepted because it came back to you. And not only what did it come back to you, but when you utilize that in place of a so-called state identification in a federal situation, you were released without being, as if you were like an untouchable, like can't you're. So what did you put on there?
The man gives a wonderful video. I did exactly what he said to do.
What man? Because they're asking who are you, when you say
Yusuf
who, what?
how to get on the do not detain list. Step by step. I listened to it twice. I sat down with my little passport paper. I filled it out. I listened to him. I looked up the law. I printed it out. I signed it. He gives you everything. There's no mystery. There's no chaos. I'm not leaving anything out. I'm giving you the reference of the man that helped me. So I'm not going to pretend that it's my work. It's not my work. It's his work. I'm not plagiarizing. I'm not stealing. I'm not copywriting. Okay? The man put together a beautiful piece of work explaining quite wonderfully exactly what you needed to do. You just got to do it. He walked you through step by step. This application of how to get out of the system, you have to read the information for yourself. There are laws in there where they like to attack people. And as I have not exited it, I am up for attack. You're not going to get me attacked. You're not going to get me barred. Okay? You're not going to stop my flow. I'm just trying to tell you where to go in order to get your flow moving wonderfully, smoothly, without BS. There's no BS. You just need to see it's right there. I found absolutely nothing that is unavailable to you.
I had Yusuf L on the show a couple of months ago, and Yusuf is controversial, and because he doesn't he's not one of those Moors. He knows he's a Moor, but he also does dabbles in UCCs and so forth. And so I got some flack feedback and so forth. But personally, Yusuf L and I have been acquainted, and we have done business, if you will, since 2015. He was the one that gave me my start on social media on the High Frequency Radio Network, his platform, and I had a show called Reawakening Minds on Blog Talk Radio for 2+ years. And so, and the only reason why I stopped doing the show was because I got hurt. And one thing I would say about Yusuf, he's a stand-up guy. He means what he says what he means, and I appreciate his stance on things, because and I've had conversations like this with, and I digress a bit, but I'm gonna talk a little bit. I've had similar conversations with my brother Sabir Bey, and I can call him brother. I was at odds with him about a thing about a year and a half or so ago, and we recently resolved that, and it was a situation where, if you don't tell somebody something what you expect, and they don't do what you expect because you never told them what you expect, then you get what you get. And so we had to, straighten some stuff out. But Sabir and I have talked about the fact that, he's another person that goes and, he's traveling outside of the, a Mexum, and he's going to Morocco and different, he's seeing what it takes. And, he's seeing that you got to have this and that, and regardless to what the folks who haven't done it say. And so, and the other fact of the matter is that what we talked about is my nationality, my birthright is definitely paramount, but it's like I feel like my nationality, like I feel like my sexuality is my business, and I should be able to be that and not wear a banner around my neck that I'm a more, but I should just be a more and everything else that I am, a writer, a this, a that, and that that all my whole life, doesn't have to be, with carrying a flag about who I am. I need to be who I am. And some of y'all might not like that. You might, get a different feeling about me. But listen, if you spend 24/7 of your life just trying to prove who you are and don't know who you are and miss out on all of the other things that should be doing in order to further what you do in this lifetime, why you came here. I always say that, we came here for a purpose. We get sidetracked. So what you've done to me is you've gone beyond the tell me how to do it, tell me how to do it. And you said, listen, it's got to be more. And you started digging and reading and doing what a lot of us have been trained not to do, is really to read. And you said, look, I'm nerdy enough that I wanted to read, the federal, the FDIC, the CFR, the USC. And a lot of people don't, and some can't comprehend, because looking at words is not if it's not comprehension, then it doesn't matter what you look at. But when you're able to look at those things and to see the correlation, to put it all together so that it would make sense not only to you, but you could share. I mean, you were
Oh,
on the
I
edge of your.
learned about comprehension. I had to teach my son comprehension when he was young. I would quiz him on his homework and his little readings and stuff. I always made him read, so I would quiz him on his readings. And what I realized is he was quoting me verbatim, the whole line, the whole paragraph. And I was picking up the paper and I was randomly turning to any page. Like I didn't have a plan in mind. And I was like, he's got a photographic memory. And I said, okay, he's definitely the information, but he don't understand it. I can tell by the way he's talking to me, he doesn't understand it. So close your eyes. Think about what I'm asking you. Don't use the words from the book and tell me what you see. So the more we did that, that was comprehension. So we have conversation. Now he doesn't have to repeat you verbatim. He can give you his own ideals of how he feels about what you said or whatever he's read. And that is comprehension. So there are some people that maybe you are a little dyslexic. Maybe the letters don't make sense to you. I read things literally 4 times every time I read them. I don't care what it is. I'm not stupid, but I do know I'm distracted. I got whatever's going on in the kitchen, whatever's going on in TV. What is my man doing? I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about some stuff I know I should have done, I didn't do. I'm distracted. My peace, my calm, my center is not there where it should be. I don't pick up things immediately. I've got girlfriends who sometimes I don't always think that they are. I'm like, hello, where are you? How come these things don't make sense to you? But I can give them something they'll read and they understand it right away. I'll be like, damn, I feel stupid. But they understood it, and it went in one ear and out the other, and they off to the next thing. And even though they read something that says, get out of the struggle, don't do that no more, they'll go right back and keep on doing that. And I'm like, wow, I don't understand. But, that's not to say that we don't all do that. So, I read things 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times. Do not feel like it is impossible for you to learn. And don't feel like you can't ask somebody. Tell somebody, hey, come over here. I need to know this. Because if you don't ask, you won't get. A closed mouth won't get fed. That's it. Closed mouth won't get fed. You can hope. You can wish. I told Jesse Jackson, Operation Hope, keep hope alive. Kill hope. Kill hope. That bitch is dead. It's over. You have to know. You have to have some conviction about what you are getting ready to step off and do. Don't think that this is a half-ass kind of deal, because this is a military action coming at you. Shit. I don't see too many people running up to the military gates being like, I'm going to fight you. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't. I would not risk my life. And I would not tell anybody else to risk theirs. But I'm damn sure going to stand up for it and I'm going to fight for it. But I'm not going to waste my time with this. I don't get nowhere. This right here, this right here, I have slaughtered people.
You tell me. You mentioned something about the luxury tax or something. Somebody had asked a question about taxes. There was something, an executive order or something. I believe you asked me, was I aware of something, some kind of, there was something you read or you discovered. Can you share that?
Um, Taxes?
I thought we were talking about tax. Maybe it was something else. Why does Alavita
No.
Shala Huda who? Why does what?
Um, I don't remember about taxes. I know I hadn't started my taxes. I was getting ready to, and then I realized that the tax thing was really a wild goose chase. I think the only thing you really have to do is your UCC and I think your Form 56. And basically, you're handing that off because when you come into the understanding of what you're doing and you start filling out the forms, you're going to understand that as the highest ranked nationality, everyone works for you. Everyone is your worker, your employee, your citizen. They belong to you. The land belongs to you. Everything on the land belongs to you. You put your workers to work, give them orders, and you tell them what to do. But first, you have to have written it out and prove that you are that person. And that is where some of those forms come in at. But when you start intaking this information, it literally is going to lay down for you and wait for you to just claim, hey, come get me. Because you've got everything. You got your birth certificate, you got your social security number. Those two pieces of paper, gonna get you almost everything you need. This thing right here, that's gonna get you the other few things you need.
Have people in the chat talking about the UCCs being private or being unnecessary. Todd says we don't need to. We don't need that stuff? Why would we fill out forms if
Because
they
it's
are
not unnecessary.
falling?
It's not unnecessary. They do kind of draw it out and they make it a whole lot bigger than it needs. It's necessary on the very most basic level. Hey, get this done. But who are you saying, hey, get this done to? That's what you need to read and learn. So, as far as sitting down with, I literally probably had two stacks this big when I thought that I needed to do the taxes. Two big giant stacks. And I was getting ready to sit down and read all of that crap. And then, as I was going through stuff and I'm typing stuff and I'm searching for stuff, a little voice came out of nowhere and said, wait a minute, you want a goose chase? That's the goose chase part. That paperwork, that's the goose chase part. You just need one of them forms. So, not all of it is a waste. In order to claim yourself properly, you do need about one or two of those little forms from each one of these little places. Just don't let them get you caught up in telling them or letting them tell you that you need all of it. That's when you become the citizen, the worker, the employee, the slave. Don't do that. Stop doing it.
What about a trust? Have you? developed a trust.
You need to know who your workers are, because your workers are very important. That word right there that you just said, I'm not going to repeat it. We're going to put a couple E on it. And you need to know who your workers are, because your workers do what you tell them to do. That's a clue.
So what you're are you saying
The highest
that we
offices in the land have a house or have a head. That head.
I get that. I get that. But I think the confusion for me comes in as to where you stand, where would one stand if they went through the process that you have gone and continue, if I'm not mistaken, to go through? Where would,
Natural man,
because
living
people
soul.
repeat that.
Natural man, living soul, celestial heavenly body. Really. Okay, so that sounds hokey. It sounds hokey. It sounds like, who is this flower love child crazy bitch? And I let me explain that. You have to study. Everything that they've told you was hokey and all the other stuff. That's exactly how they get up and plan the days. When you go to court, it's because they use the celestial calendar to use against you. You're going in on what is perceived to be your worst day in life. That is how they schedule you to go to court. They want to know that you are having a crap ass day. You're either late, you haven't read the information, you are lost, you are going to go ahead and pay the big fine, you're going to submit, you're going to do whatever to get out of this situation, or you're just going to be like, I give up, put some handcuffs on me, take me into custody. That's what they want. Because then they can go, insurance, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Write the check out. I just got paid. New car, new house, bigger girlfriend, boobies, something. And that's for you. And it's coming from what your status left for, gave them the job to do. Your status gave them a job to do, a thing to protect. And you don't know how to claim it, so they just like, oh, we gonna hit that. We gonna hit that. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They too stupid. Literally, it's our house. And you've been locked outside and they in there partying and screwing your kids.
Okay, so we get a lot of people and they talk about things. I know I'm looking at the comments and so forth, and I know you are not selling a process. And I ask you to come on the show based on you just wanting to share with me what you're doing. However, and then people are asking about what forms and whatever. I don't. You're mute. So
They
I
want
don't.
point blank answers. Okay, let me point blank tell you. There is a 5-year, $1 million fine for disturbing the business of the United States. Now, once you get outside of their jurisdiction, now you're just an enemy. So, if they cannot lock you up, what they gonna do to you? They can't take your money, they can't lock you up. What they gonna do to you? Don't put me in that position, okay? I wouldn't put you in that position. Didn't I tell you? I'm not asking you to risk your life. I'm asking you to expand your mind. So get nasty with me if you want to, because you're showing yourself. I thought you were better than that. That's why I came out. I think all of us are better than that. I think that the anger and the chaos that we are in right now, I think that that makes us do some really ugly, nasty things to one another. I think that makes us say some really crappy things to one another. But I think that you need to really, really understand that you came from something that has been beaten down so hard that you need to understand that whomever in the heck it is that is looking for this with you, the same way that you're looking for this, they're sharing this struggle. They're not the person to be beat down. And the fact that you want to beat somebody down, that just shows how weak and chaotic you are. So you need to really pull back, find your calm and find your peace. Stop putting your hands together praying. Stop doing that. I read the Vatican Papers. The Vatican Papers say that they keep Allah chained to the earth with golden chains, and those chains are strengthened by your prayers. You need to find your center, find your calm, and breathe. Because in that peace, you weaken those chains. And at some point, she'll be free, and hopefully we can all be free. But that anger, that need to go to war, you're feeding the devil side of you. We all have a duality, a masculine and a feminine. And I think it's way too much masculine flow here. Way too much. Because it just wants to dominate and do all kinds of horrible, ugly things. Heck, most women live with people that they're afraid of. So where is all of that nasty energy going? I mean, because you got that nasty energy and your children watch it, and then they go out and they want to be nasty energies, and they're fighting and they can't get along, and you're wondering, oh my goodness, why are my kids acting like this, and who is messing with my kids? Somebody that is in this middle of this ugly, chaotic, I want to attack everybody thing. They're training children to be chaotic and want to attack and to have no peace, to have no calm, to have no focus, to have no ability to learn to grow correctly, properly. So you just giving your kids to the government. You just giving them.
I don't think people totally understand, but I do want to bring out the fact that and I'm seeing all kinds of things and questions like, well, if you didn't want to answer questions, why'd you come on? She came on because I asked her to come on. That's one thing. She didn't ask to come on. She came on because I asked her to come. So I do appreciate you, Letrice, for coming on. Also, Sister Light to Jerry Bey put that Empress Letrice has all lowercase letters for her appellation on the screen. That is the creditor. Creditors escape capitalism by using lowercase letters, among other things, high honors. We get a lot of varying information about what to do and what not to do, and we give high honors to our national Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, who himself in our conversations and in many times when he's out here even sharing in the lives, I've heard him say, but I know he's definitely said it to me, that he has never put himself out there to be the definitive answer about everything. There are things that he used to do 25 years ago that he can't do now because the system and the way of things have changed, and people, largely based on what we've talked about, changed it by doing some nefarious acts and so forth, and really messed things up. It was a lot easier, but that was not the time, I would say, that we're in now. We're now in a time when, like you said, we are expendable. Seriously, it was always in the trajectory to say now we don't need them anymore, but now the time is nigh. We're right in the thick of, we don't need them. We've got AI, we've got technology, we've got whatever we've taken from so-called alien or off-world technologies. We can do this, we can do that. We don't need them. And so we can kill them. We can make them kill themselves. We can plant things in their mind and make you think it's in their body, and we can do what we're doing. And we're in the midst of all of that stuff now. Things have changed. And so what happened and what worked and what even might still be being said that used to work but hasn't really produced any real result as a result of it, we have to get to the place where we know that the Most High is going to send us like new information. Did not the prophet say the half has not been told? And so when people say things about, well, the prophet didn't say that, Noble Drew Ali didn't say that or that, well, he said he said he hadn't told half of what could be told. So that means more information, more light, more truth. But the fact of the matter is, what I get from you is that you didn't just stay stuck on what someone told you, but you have moved forward to see, well, what else might be available to help me. Now I know a lot of people are, they said UCCs, or, and I don't deal with that, but they say that UCCs are going back into a fraudulent, if you will, practice. But if it's a way to get you out of something that's absolutely, got you confined, locked down, limited to getting a hold of whatever it is you say. People trying to get this into the sister trust and all that stuff. If it is a way to, like you said, get you undetained, where they won't touch you, or get you so they won't question what you're doing and everything, to me, it's a step in the right direction. I mean, do you want to stay bound because you can't stand to be partially free? You know what I mean? So if you're partially free, then you have the ability to get wholly free. In my mind, because I always think that the Most High, I know that the Most High gives answers. I know that the still small voice in me is greater than any voice outside of me. I know that we have been trained for the solid system and to look for a savior. I was a pastor for many, many years, and we have been trained to look outside of ourselves for answers. But I declare that the answer is within you. And sometimes you just have to ask the question, not in a, tell me, but you have to ask the question and then wait. And then inside of you comes the answer. And sometimes for many of us, it is the impetus, it is the drive to push us forward in order to find what it is. I told a brother the other day, I said, I told Sabir, we have, the scripture says this, and Taj told me not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I was going to throw the whole Bible away. But there's a scripture that says that the greater one lives on the inside of you. So if the greater one, there's another scripture that talks about the pearl of great price. And so my thing is, the pearl of great price and the greater one, whatever that is, and I'm not being religious, the greatest thing that I need from an answer standpoint is in me. And so instead of me digging outside, do you have the answer? No, you've got your answer. But I've got to find my own answer. I've got to find my own way. I've got to make it my own, because when it is my own, I have more respect for what's my own. I have more respect for what I toiled for. And so you toiled, and you're still toiling. You didn't come on here, I know, to say that, you have the authority, the definitive answer on nationality. You came to share your experience. And I want to say, some of you, I don't recognize you on the feed, and I appreciate you. Hope you'll come back. I got another show tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is 8 p.m. is normally my show time, but 8:30 p.m. tonight. So I'm giving you two first, because I didn't do a show last week. But I'm saying, I don't know all of you, and you all don't know me, but I've had somebody in there talking about ego and whatever, and I'm sure not somebody checked them, because they know me. Dr. G, I don't play like that with people. I shoot straight from the hip. I come from the heart and the hip. People know I'm not selling it. The only thing I have up there, running up there, it has to do with silver and energy. Other than that, I'm usually promoting what other people do. And yeah, but I'm saying this. Let me. Yeah, this. Let me.
I can't see the comments. That's the first thing that I want to say, people. I can't see the comments. I don't know what you're asking. I'm not ignoring you. I am not answering you. They're just simply not here. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't have any ego. I'm not looking for anything. And I've been all over Facebook. I've dibbled and dabbled. I've been on some of everybody's chat streams. And I do say some stuff, because whatever is in me, whatever it is that brought me into this, when I was a little girl, my grandmother told me that she and I used to have conversations all the time. But I was answering her nonverbal questions. I didn't know I was doing that. When I was in high school, my girlfriends were calling, and I sent some of them invitations, and I hope that maybe one of them is on the line. they would call and I would answer the phone. Hey, Wanda. Hey, Tremina. Hey, Erica. What's up? Erica got mad. She was like, I'm not calling you no more because that's weird. You always do it to me. Tremina was like, yeah, whatever. Don't bother me. Wanda was like, I think it's funny. So I don't know why. I'm not lying. I'm not saying anything. My sister thinks that I'm damn crazy. She's just like, you always think you know some shit you don't know. But I always seem to be able to do or provide whatever it is that is necessary for the situation. I never seem to not be in a situation. I get myself into horrible situations because I have no respect for money. I made a lot of it. I have no respect for it. I'll give it away. That's my problem. That's my downfall. Nobody can take advantage of me on it though, because I give to who I choose to give to. I used to feed the lady down the street on the fucking on the corner. She was sleeping in the building. I used to go get my breakfast every morning. On the way back, I knew they gave me 2-3 times as much. I put 2 or 3 things together and I gave one to the lady and whoever else I saw on the street. But I did it all the time. People were like, you just spent $80 on that food and you got leftovers and you just did all of that. It's not because whatever. Those people are hungry. I'm gonna take this stuff back to my refrigerator. It's never gonna taste the way the restaurant gave it to me. I can't cook worth a damn. I'm never gonna heat it and give it this good flavor again. Why should I waste it? Why should I let it go bad in my refrigerator? So I'm gonna give it away. I go to work. I used to make good, decent money. All of my bills would be paid. I was lonely. I was bored because my sister didn't understand what family was, because she wasn't taught what family was, because she came from a separated, distracted, broken family with horrible leadership. So I didn't have somebody to go home to and kick back with and chill and laugh and talk. I was lonely. I found myself going to the store, going to the mall. You just wasted money. You bought some crap that you're going to put in the closet. You work every blasted day. You're never going to have the opportunity to wear these clothes, even take these tags off. I don't know how many clothes I lost in different moves, moving along the way because I was unstructured in my mind. I don't have ego. I'm not special. I see past a whole lot of things because I accept them as they are. If I was abused in my house, not physically, but mentally, if I was abused in my house and I knew that I didn't feel safe there, then who else am I looking at imagining that they can make me feel safe? No one. No one. I'm looking at them and I'm imagining, all right, what is going to come out of there? What do you have in there that's going to come out? Is it good? Is it bad? Do I need to get the heck away from it? Can I stand you for a little while? Can I be around that for a little while? And most times, no matter who it is, I find myself saying no. And that's unfortunate. And I'm so lonely. That's why I talk to people online, because I'm lonely. Shit, my man don't even like me no more because my man, we came together and he didn't know who he was. I knew who I was. And then he tried to change me. And I was like, no, I like me. So, in the midst of fighting, in order to shut down the fight, I started reading. And this is how I found this. This has been like a 2.5, 3 year journey for me. I am not special. I haven't been doing this for years. All those other people who maybe I said a little comment to, I have mad respect for all of that. But the people who jump on and repost them, I question their motivation in the repost because it really looks like idolatry. It looks like you're worshiping the man for being the man instead of whatever teaching was supposed to come out of that. So I'm never knocking the person. I'm asking you to question yourself. What is your motivation? Because idolatry is a sin that's wrong. It's taking you somewhere, nowhere good.
So
So
I
I'm
want to
not
say, yeah.
dogging anybody, and I don't have any ego. I'm about the most humble person there is, and you don't have to believe me, and that's up to you.
Let me see if there's any, because we're in the last 5, 6 minutes of this. It was asked if you could list 3 codes that changed your life and uplifted you the most.
Codes. Let me
Codes.
see. First, definitely that one from the Nationality Act, 101A 15I. The next one, I don't know if I said they changed my life, but I said they changed my thinking. Um, I don't know which one it is. I found it not so long ago, and it explained rivers and banks and how they were dividing the land. It is in Statutes at Large, Volume 1 of, I want to say, I was looking at 490, and while I was looking at page 490, because you go by pages, I was looking at that page and I had read something there, or maybe it was the next page back, but it made me flip backwards to go to previous pages. So don't make me lie to you. I don't know what page it was. I don't know what act number it was, but it was right around there. And they're breaking down the understanding of rivers, banks, streams, waterways. They're letting you know that we are the waterways. They meant to demolish all of us, but they're also telling you that they're calling us banks. We're the waterways, we're the banks. So when you start looking in those laws and you're running across those words, understand what those words mean. They do not speak point blank of who you are. They're speaking of in symbolic ways. So you have to know, and you have to start pulling everything in, because there is, and I didn't bring it over here with me. I don't want to get up again. They tell you exactly who the United States possessions are and the territories. They tell you exactly. Only the possessions and the territories are the special people. If they're not listed in the possessions and the territories, they're the workers, they're the slaves, they're the whatever. Those people can get out of that system, but no matter what, they're not us. They're not us. And the reason why we're larger targets, let me say this really, really fast. It appears that we are larger targets because we see ourselves more commonly being abused in the media. They mean to do that. That's a mind play. But let me tell you where it comes from. When they pick us up off the streets, most times our assets are not large. They can only fleece what they can pull out of our pockets, whatever they can put us on paper willing to contract to give them. But they attack everyone equally. When they attack these other people, they're taking their cars, their homes, their houses. So they're attacking them too. But when they attack them, they hit them for 300,000 at a time. They only got you for 2,000 this time. They're going to catch you again down the road in 4 or 5 months. They're going to get you for another 2,000. But they hitting them for 300,000. They only might hit them once every few years, but they hit them 300,000. They might hit us every few months, but we only getting two grand at a time. So they're making sure that crap adds up. And we're the only possessions and territories. We're the ones that have the real wealth. They already got their wealth a long time ago. They pulled them off of their land. They brought them here. They don't got nothing. They only have what they make. They only have what they make. They are not valuable targets. So stop being mad at the white people. They ain't worth shit. You're worth everything. Everything is you. You are everything.
The comment was, why is Sharon Tracy Gale Bay still in jail?
Tracy was whooping that tail and she was teaching others. Didn't I tell you, 5 years, $1 million? They are day by day taking that $1 million. They can only get so much at a time. They can only get so much at a time. Her paperwork was not the paperwork that they are willing to accept, and she never forced her paperwork through the international courts. That is the all of it. Give them what they want, or take your paperwork through international lines and force them down their throat. So do it the easy way, do it the hard way, but you gotta do every checkpoint along the way. That's why I can't answer you other than not seeing your questions. I can't give you a specific because my specific didn't come from your specific. I can do my sister, but she don't like me well enough to listen.
I want to say thank you for, your candor and your willingness to share. And I'm not sure who Lamont L is, but Lamont L has a lot to say. He wants to know why you haven't freed Tracy, sharing Tracy Gale Bay. But, you know, you
I ask, I inquire. I don't know her. I don't know who her people are. I'm not there. I don't have any ability to wave a magic wand. I told you I'm still in the process. I have found everything and I thought, okay, the reason how this conversation came about and how we ended up doing this interview was I didn't know what my E's. Remember we had that conversation, I'm not going to say that word. I didn't know what my E's were. It took someone through me searching that day to find my E's. Now, I told already what the E's were. I hope you all were listening. I hope you paid attention. So now I know what the E's are. But if I didn't know what the E's are, I wouldn't have been out there grasping and saying because I thought the E's were someone else in my position. But that wasn't necessarily true. Someone corrected me on that. And as they corrected me, then this whole thing got to going because I was like, hey, I'm standing at the door knocking. I need somebody to come in with me. But now I understand I don't need somebody to come in with me. I just needed more knowledge, more information. So I was provided and I'm happy. But why haven't I? Because I've been a little distracted in these last 2 days, 3 days that I've had this information. So, am I going to? I will probably be finished with a great deal of it by tomorrow afternoon and probably have it in the mail by tomorrow evening. Registered. Because you always need to do registered. You always need to do registered. You're going to walk in there. They're going to ask you, do you want it certified? You're going to be like, I don't know really. Registered means it's under lock and key. They have to keep their eyes on it at all times. It is absolutely most valuable, important, and everyone will make sure that it gets to its proper destination, to its proper person. It will be appointed to them directly. That's what register means. It means it's not getting lost in the mail. There is no delay. It's urgent right now because you are special, because you are the highest authority in the land. But you got to love yourself in order to listen and learn because you need that for yourself, for myself.
listen. I want to thank you. We've run out of time, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I thank you for your comments, good, bad, or indifferent. We just asked. I asked rather on this platform that you be respectful. We don't have to agree, but we should agree to disagree. This is not a platform for us. One of the problems that I see. Yeah, one of the problems that I see is that a lot of times we don't have to worry about them doing anything to us because we got enough mouth and chopping up that we can do with each other. So I appreciate and respect. I respect, if you will, what it is you have shared with us, and you didn't have to do it. I ask you to, and the information, it's for those that it was meant for. They will take this as, hey, I could take what she did and start doing my own search because now I got a couple more things that I can put in my toolkit that I could use for completing this task. So I do appreciate you. I have put up I hope you don't mind. You're probably going to get inundated with emails because I've been putting your email address up, and so that people who might want to reach out to you and get any assistance. Like I said, you are not doing this you're not selling packages. You are just sharing what has worked for you and where you're going. And for anyone that if it resonates with you, then hey, use it. If not, hey, listen, it was nothing ventured, nothing gained. You didn't have to pay anything but attention for this. And so that's all we ever ask. Of course, I always ask that you would support the House of Reawakening Minds, because we are doing our best to reawaken minds as best we can. But even that is purely of your own volition. You don't have to. You get the same thing whether you support us or not. So thank you so much for coming on. And there you are. You have a sister, a realtor who has become an independent researcher based on the necessity or the desire to just learn, to learn what she needed to do to get to the next level. It may not be your next level, but for her, it's work. She's sharing with you. If you don't want to, use it, then we know nobody's mad at you. We just want you to know that for those whosoever will. And again, Letrice, if you have a final word or anything you want to say before we go off, I'm going to give you the last word.
No, I don't really have. I just hope everybody finds their path. I just want everybody to get there. I don't want us to still be in this, because people are out there sitting there thinking we need to form armies, we need to get together and fight this, and we're celestial beings. We don't need to fight. We don't need to bring harm to ourselves. We don't need to do any of that. We just need to expand our minds a little bit and understand who we are and then act in that. That's it. There is no reason for any of us to be angry. Lots of stuff has happened, and most of these people over here are as dumb as a box of rocks. They don't know as much as we know. Okay? They're just lost in their chaos, and there are so many people standing behind them saying that it's correct. So just know that they're lost. And that's it. Don't be angry. Just be willing to get your thing moving. Because honestly, if I hadn't been in a bad relationship, I would be lost. I would be out there just, duh, I need approval. Okay, thank you so much for acknowledging me. But that's not the way we're supposed to be living our life. I don't want to do that. And I damn sure don't want to have a bad back and shitty lips. So I don't want nobody to live like that. That's horrible.
Someone asked if you have a Cash App. Do you have a Cash App?
I don't. And I don't need it, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you. I don't need it.
Well, if you want to, if you could support
Give it to
the
the House
Cash.
of Awakening Minds. Give it to the House of Reawakening Minds. That's what you can do for me. Give it to the house, because I've been out there. I gave what I could, and it is more than worth it, because so much of the information that I have came directly from them, all of them. Taj Tariq, Abdullah, Shim, they have so many other speakers. I have listened, I've learned so much. My man, honestly, let me tell you this, for people who maybe have problems, I can't remember the man's name. I wish I could. I think that I only saw him give speeches twice, but he talked about fenugreek and sea moss and something else and something else. And this was before he really got into a bulk of information that I fell in love with. But what he said was this was all good for your digestive area, and it cleans out all of your male parts, your female parts. It gets all of that gunk and nasty out of there, and it keeps everything moving. Well, I'm almost 50. My man is 53. Most of his friends a little bit older than him. They all are like, oh my God, I'm so glad your girl came through with that information. I feel so much better. I don't know what those old men are doing, because I don't see most of them, but that was the conversations that they've had. So all of this information that all of these people put out, it is beautiful. It's wonderful. Thank them. Thank them. I can't hear you.
You're talking about Brother Dave Levi Bay, and who's the we've had on the show a couple of times. But again, want to thank you, and we did a little extra 10 minutes. I'll be back at 8:30, and as I said, Letrice, you're probably going to be inundated, because there's some, even some of the ones who haven't said anything really good are probably going to shout
Oh
out
yeah.
to
Oh,
you and
it's okay.
ask
I
you
have to
some
deal with
stuff in
haters all the
secret, but
time.
it's okay. So again, we thank you, and I'll be back at 8:30. a half an hour later than normal, 8:30 tonight with Brother Diami from China. So tune in.
Yeah, that's me. Dr. G. Really? Who's she? 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 Yeah.